It is a huge day for Donald Trump in the 2024 presidential election. One of the 4 criminal cases against Trump could effectively end today, as the DA on it could be exposed once and for all, potentially as a liar, a perjurer, and corrupt. If she goes, the whole case could go in a prosecution that was looking very scary for Trump, given the rabidity of this DA and the jury pool in Fulton County, Georgia. Judge Scott McAfee holding a hearing at 2 p.m. with Terrence Bradley, the former attorney friend and one-time law partner of Nathan Wade. Wade is a special prosecutor in the case against Trump. He stands accused of engaging in a kind of improper kickback scheme with DA Fani Willis, with whom he had an extramarital affair. The allegation is that Ms. Willis hired her alleged lover to work on the Trump case, capping his hours at a higher number and paying him more than the other 2 special prosecutors she brought in, and far more than any assistant DA in her office, and that the 2 of them then enjoyed the fruits of those payments on lavish vacations paid for by Wade in places like the Bahamas, Aruba, and Napa. That all of this created a conflict of interest, or at least the appearance of one, for prosecutors whose mission is supposed to be the pursuit of justice, not the pursuit of pina coladas by the sea on the taxpayer's dime. Both Wade and Willis claim the affair did not begin until after Willis hired him. They say it was early 2022 when it started. She hired him November 21, and have testified there were no kickbacks, that Willis repaid Wade for all of those trips in cash with no receipts, no ATM withdrawal slips, no deposit records, nor anything else to document the alleged repayments. By the way, in their write-up on this story today, the New York Times did not think it was relevant to tell its readers the alleged repayments were all in cash with no receipts. If you're a Times reader, here's what you were told. Willis and Wade, quote, have testified that they roughly split the costs of their vacations, end quote. Nothing to see here. Great job, Times. Great job. So did the affair begin prior to 2022, contrary to the sworn testimony of both of these prosecutors? And can this court give credence to the testimony of Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade that despite the absence of receipts, Willis paid Wade back for these many vacations? Ms. Willis's longtime friend, Robin Earty, took the stand on February 15th at the motion, on the hearing, on the motion to disqualify, and told the court the affair began long before 2022. She said it was as far back as 19. She said she saw it with her own eyes, and she also heard about it from Ms. Willis, her good friend, quote, no doubt in her mind about it.
From everything that you saw, heard, witnessed, it's your understanding that they were in a romantic relationship beginning in 2019?
Yes.
You have no doubt that their romantic relationship was in effect from 2019 until the last time you spoke with her?
No doubt.
And did you observe them do things that are common among people having a romantic relationship?
Yes.
Such as, can you give us an example?
Hugging, kissing, just affection.
All before November 1st of 2021, correct?
Yes.
But Willis ultimately dismissed Ms. Yurty from the DA's office, where Yurty worked for a time, and thus her testimony could potentially be discounted by this judge. Maybe she had a motive to lie, though that was not effectively fleshed out on the stand at all. They just got her to testify that she was booted, and it did not appear to be with her agreement. Lots of people get fired and would not go on to perjure themselves to get back at their old boss, especially when to do so would be a felony. This is not like 2 gals at a bar talking about a third. This woman's under oath on the witness stand in a court proceeding. They did nothing to prove to us that Robin Yurty is the kind of person who would go that far to get back at someone who let her go from a job. And despite all their promises, they were going to put on witness testimony showing that she's a liar. It didn't happen. They didn't bring a soul. Then there are Nathan Wade's phone records. Nathan Wade's phone records. The Trump Defense Counsel got a hold of the special prosecutor's phone records. They were submitted by Trump's counsel after the hearing closed. The prosecution wants to keep them out. A hearing on that happens this Friday. If they come in, however, they show that these 2, Wade and Willis, called each other more than 2,000 times in an 11-month period in 2021. 2021, before they claim their affair began, more than 2,000 times, and texted each other nearly 12,000 times. Platonic friends. That's an average of 6 calls a day for 11 months and nearly 36 texts a day. Think about the people in your life. Who do you text with 36 times a day? As a grown adult, right? Atlanta Journal-Constitution columnist Bill Torpy noted, this is a level of connectedness not usually reached by teen BFFs. 100% true. That's right. The phone records also show that Nathan Wade appears to have visited Fani Willis at her home as many as 35 times in 2021, before they say their affair began, including at least 2 overnights, complete with what looks like the "got home safely" text at the end of one of those. Any thinking person can see what was going on here. They always tell jurors you don't check your common sense when you walk into the jury box. To the contrary, it's your most important skill. But could this judge, it's not a jury case yet, right now it's just the judge's decision, could the judge nonetheless refuse to consider the cell phone evidence? Yeah. He can say it was filed too late. It wasn't supported. It's not conclusive. Cell phone tower data is used all the time by prosecutors in criminal cases. It's odd how suddenly Ms. Wade, the prosecutor, Willis that is, suggests it's totally unreliable here. Well, it's so weird. If you were a defendant in her jurisdiction being prosecuted by Willis or any of her DAs, wouldn't you be bringing those words back to haunt her in emotion right now? All of which brings us to Terrence Bradley, Nathan Wade's old pal and today's star witness. He tried to get out of testifying at the hearing on whether Willis and Wade should be disqualified 2 weeks ago, despite the fact that it appears he had already given up the game before he raised those objections, exchanging text messages with one of the Trump defendants' lawyers, saying that the motion to disqualify, quote, looks good. It looks good. Thumbs up. And according to that lawyer, confirming her allegations about this affair, when it began, and so on. Ashley Merchant is the name of that attorney. She represents a guy named Michael Roman, who's been tried as being accused along with Trump. She has all of these text messages. They were between Merchant and Terrence Bradley. She's got them in her possession. She read at least 2 of them into the record at the DQ hearing. In one of them, Merchant asked Bradley if he knew anyone who would give her an affidavit about the affair, and he responded, no one would freely burn that bridge. Listen.
Can you repeat the question?
The question is, did I text you asking you if you knew who I could get an affidavit from about the affair? And you responded, no one would freely burn that bridge.
Yes, I do see that.
Now, the other message shared in court, Terrence Bradley was asked about being sent the January 8th motion to disqualify that first detailed the alleged allegations, the affair allegations, I should say, before it was filed. She wanted him to look it over. He was somebody who knew Wade. He was someone who'd gone way back with Wade. And Terrence Bradley responded to that draft motion saying, looks good, as I mentioned. Merchant sought to confirm those messages and others with Mr. Bradley and to get him talking about what he knows about this affair at the hearing 2 weeks ago. But Bradley clammed up on the stand, repeatedly citing the attorney-client privilege. Well, those privilege claims have not held up. It's official now. At a closed-door meeting with Judge McAfee yesterday, during which Mr. Bradley's former client and friend Nathan Wade was reportedly right outside waiting in the courtroom, Terrence Bradley tried to justify his privilege assertions again, something that would have been very hard for him to do, since we know for a fact he already disclosed much about this tryst to attorney Ashley Merchant. So Bradley was either mistaken when on the stand he said these communications were all privileged, or he was correct and he unethically divulged them to counsel for the defense. Okay, so either he was wrong to say they were privileged, or he was right to say they were privileged, which would have made his disclosure to Ashley Merchant of the communications improper and unethical. Tough spot to be in. But I think I'd rather be in the I mistakenly asserted privilege on the stand camp. Late yesterday, the judge issued his ruling. Hasn't yet been released publicly, but the New York Times has it, quoting here. The court believes that the interested parties did not meet their burden of establishing that the communications are covered by the attorney-client privilege, and therefore the hearing can resume as to Mr. Bradley's examination. Thus, it would seem Terrence Bradley must now reveal what he knows about the relationship between Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. It's go time. If he testifies consistent with what is in his texts to Ashley Merchant, putting the lie to the testimony given by Wade and Willis, there is zero doubt that they should be thrown off of this case. Two prosecutors in one of the biggest criminal cases in the country lie to the judge under oath about the nature of their potentially conflicted relationship, and they can continue on with impunity? I don't think so. I don't think so. Even Fani Willis's defenders get stuck on this point. Before, they were saying, no, they can't be booted. No, there's not enough of a conflict of interest. No, the appearance of a conflict isn't enough. Has to be an actual conflict. What's the conflict? No, she reimbursed him half the money. She paid in cash. So what? She doesn't have receipts. The judge is going to find her credible. You get to the point of two officers of the court lying under oath, and you watch them wither on the vine. Read the articles. They all start stumbling. Watch the clips. They all start stuttering. They know very well they can't stay on this case. These folks may not care about the vacations or the affair, but any honest lawyer will tell you an officer of the court lying to the judge under any circumstances, never mind under oath, is a serious ethical breach, not to mention, a felony. It's a felony. And the lie here would be to cover up their conflict of interest and the alleged kickback scheme. So it's not like it was a meaningless lie. They will be lucky not to wind up convicted felons, never mind prosecutors on this case. So those are the stakes today, and we're waiting for it to start. Will Terrence Bradley say on the stand what he said to Ashley Merchant in these texts? Or will he hem and haw again and try to protect his friend? If he confirms the affair began prior to 2022, expect the state to once again attempt to attack his character, as they did when he said almost nothing 2 weeks ago. What these two should do instead is to spare themselves and the citizens of Fulton County the embarrassment of this spectacle and resign. It will do Fani Willis no good in her quest to avoid ethics charges with the bar and probably others to continue this fight if Terrence Bradley does her in today. Judge McAfee should not have to order these globe-trotting lovebirds off of this case. They should do the right thing and step down. Do you owe back taxes? Pandemic relief is now over. Along with hiring thousands of new agents and field officers, the IRS has kicked off 2024 by sending over 5 million pay-up letters to those who have unfiled tax returns or balances owed. Oh, joy. Don't waive your rights and speak with them on your own. Tax Network USA, a trusted tax relief firm, has saved over $1 billion in back taxes for their clients, and they can help you secure the best deal possible. Whether you owe 10 grand or 10 million, they can help you, whether it's business or personal taxes. Even if you have the means to pay or you are on a fixed income, they can help financially resolve your tax burdens once and for all. Call 1-800-245-6000 for a private free consultation or visit tnusa.com/Megyn. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.